Hello and welcome back. Today I'm working on a wool baby blanket for my for someone that I know. I'm doing one that is reminiscent of a rainbow. I know that the weather is going to be nasty in several parts of the country and the world today, so stay safe and stay warm. I hope that you're doing well today. I'm working on this baby's blanket and I'm almost done. It's a corner to corner. I'm using Brown Sheep Company wool. It's 100% or 85% merino and 15% mohair. It's a good day here in Wyoming, a little cold and windy, but realistically, it's a good day. Humphreys and Bella are cuddled up on the couch with Mom. And I'm just sitting here crocheting away. Let's see. I guess I should say hello, welcome, and howdy. My name is Jamie, and I'm a crochet artist from Wyoming. We live in the southeast corner of Wyoming, so we're very close to Colorado. So this is the blanket that I'm currently working on. And as you can probably tell, I am almost done with it. It's coming together pretty well. Once I finish the main body of the blanket, I'm going to do a row of single crochets, and then I'm going to do a border on it. I'm thinking that I would like to do a row of V-stitch and shells. Typically, I just do fans on my borders for my blankets, mainly because it's an easy one to remember, and it's an easy one to work across a repeat, like when you're doing the corner to corner. So this wool is actually vintage. It's from the 1990s. It's from possibly around 94, 95. Mom found it on Facebook Marketplace, and we got a really good deal on it. And the person that I'm making this for, her parents just recently went over to the mill that milled this yarn. And so we talked about that a little bit last time I saw this person. And so I'm going to make her a baby's blanket made out of this vintage yarn. I am really excited about it because I get to use this yarn in a way that I had not expected. But I think that she will really appreciate not only the time and effort that I put into it, but also the fact that it's vintage yarn. You can't buy this. You can buy Lamb's Pride at their mill. However, you cannot purchase these particular colors off the shelf. And you can't get this exact blend of merino and mohair from them. This was back when the owner that owns it now, it was back when her father owned the mill. And so the quality is a little different than what you will find today. Today, it is extremely high quality wool. This isn't quite as good quality in that every so often I find a little bit of grass or something I got to pull out. And it's not from how the person that we purchased this from stored it. It's actually in the yarn because it was not, for whatever reason, it was not clean the way that they do it now. And so sometimes you get that plant matter. However, it's awesome to be able to use this and make something for someone. Mom got home just a little bit ago. She was out with my aunt and one of my cousins. They were out thrift shopping. I'm currently working on a baby blanket. There's no pattern. It's just a C to C. And I am working on closing it and ending it. I'm getting fairly close, maybe another, I don't know how long, but it won't take me that long to finish it, realistically. I've worked on this blanket basically, this is technically my third day of working on it because I didn't really work on it yesterday. I just wasn't having a great day. I'm having a much better day today, and I hope you are too. If you're somewhere where the weather is bad, I hope that you're able to stay warm and take care of yourself, stay safe. And if you can, stay out of the weather for as long as you can. But up here in Wyoming, it's kind of sunny. And it really is a nice day as long as you don't go out in the wind. The dogs have really been enjoying it. I had the back door opened for quite a while so they could just go in and out as they pleased, and they seemed to really enjoy it. I was cold, but a lot of times I'm cold. This baby blanket is for someone special in my life. And I know that she's going to like it. It's being made out of, I'm making it out of vintage yarn. So this yarn is from like 1994, 1995, and it's 85% mohair and 15%, whoops, I said that wrong, 85% merino and 15% mohair. It is a nice yarn. Definitely not quite up to the quality that this mill makes now. This is from Brown Sheep Company, and all of their yarns that they're currently making are very, very high quality. The only complaint I have about this one is sometimes I have to pull out plant matter. But this was milled when the person that owns it now, her father owned it, and he had a different take on making yarn and whatnot. Instead of trying to use the highest quality fibers, he would just throw everything in. And now they what they use is always the highest quality, but it's different from back then. And it's just cool that mom had purchased this vintage yarn off of Facebook. And this is going to be a great gift for the person that I'm making it for. Her parents recently went to Brown Sheep Company to the mill and really enjoyed it. So she's supposed to be looking at possibly making a trip up there. And I think that she will enjoy having a baby's blanket that's made out of vintage yarn from that particular mill. It's just pretty awesome, being able to go over to Mitchell, Nebraska, and be able to purchase extremely high quality yarns that you would normally find in really upscale, like upscale dye houses, and being able to purchase them because we got them. Did I do that right? I did. We got them. I've purchased a lot from them. In fact, I have an entire tote of fine or sock weight yarns that I've purchased from them. But I'm just happy to be able to be using this larger yarn. This is more of a DK weight. It's pretty close to a 4 weight. Anyways, Mom just got back recently, well, here in the last hour, from going thrift shopping with some of our family members. And it sounds like she had a good time. I'm really hoping that the family member that they did this for is going to really enjoy what she found. Because there's kind of some hardship going on. Not kind of, there is hardship going on in her life. But we all love her and support her. And I really think she's going to be okay. So, yeah. It's been an interesting day here at the house. The dogs have been really, really quiet. And they're very glad that Mom is home because they're cuddled up on the couch with her. The picture that I used for my thumbnail, if you saw that, was one of Mom's African violets. There's a ton of them that are flowering right now. And so I took a picture of one of them and I used that as my thumbnail. And it's kind of nice to see the different spring colors. I know here in Wyoming, we're not really in spring yet, but it's still kind of nice to see those colors. My mom has such a good green thumb. It's not even funny. Because I had a plant that was mostly dead that I brought home from work, and Mom has rehabbed it and it's put on an entire new stem and leaf, and it's going great guns. It's so happy. And like our Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter cactuses all look really good. And it's just, I get to benefit from Mom's hobby. Mom really enjoys gardening, and she really enjoys the African violets and the miniature African violets. That's just kind of her thing. And it's kind of fun to be able to enjoy that while because she enjoys doing it and I enjoy seeing the flowers. I have a black thumb. I can't keep anything alive. I did not get my mom's green thumb, but that's okay. My mom's grandfather had a very green thumb. And I think that is in some part where she kind of gets it from. They lived up in Douglas and they had a massive garden, and they, lived through the Depression and through World War II. And, he had 7 different college degrees and spoke like 9 different languages. And he worked as an interpreter at the internment camp up in Douglas to translate for the folks that were there. And he'd help write letters and that kind of stuff. He also worked as an electrician and really did everything he had to provide for his large family. I there's only two of his kids left, Aunt Ruthie and Uncle Addie. Although, in their 80s and not doing so hot. But we'll see. You never know. They can surprise us and, keep living for the next 20 years. Because our family's kind of, I don't know, we have a little bit of spiciness. Let's put it that way, spiciness. But anyways, my great-grandfather also knew how to embroider and would embroider things like pillowcases and whatnot. And I know that my that his wife, my great-grandmother, would knit and crochet. And one time I had one of our cousins walk up to me. Well, technically he's my grandma's cousin. And he told me that Agnes would be really proud of me. Well, I didn't know who the heck Agnes was because in the family, we always called her Nana. And so that was a bit disconcerting because I had no clue. Sorry, this mohair is kind of going all over the place. I had no clue who Agnes was. And so I had to learn, and that's okay. Agnes came from a really big family too. And I think she was not the youngest, but the second to the youngest, or the next to the youngest. But a lot of those, our extended family have large families as well. Although our more immediate family have smaller families. My aunt has 2 adult children, and her son has 2 adult children and one that's in high school. So, yeah. And then, we have other members of the family that, are starting new families. But it's kind of nice that my male cousin is in town, because with Mom and I living here, sometimes we need a little bit of help, and he's always very kind to come help us. And of course, my Aunt Susan, if I need anything, she comes and helps. I talk about her a lot. She's been part of my life, my whole life, but she and I have gotten closer as I became an adult. So, yeah. And my Aunt Susan has a dog named Stitch. And so she wants me to crochet a Lilo to sit on top of Stitch for his Halloween costume. So that'll be interesting, because Stitchy is one of those dogs that is very active. He and Brody come to visit every so often. When my aunt's out of town, she'll let the dogs come over here and they stay with us. And they're good dogs. They're really good dogs. Stitchy is a Dachshund cross. And Brody is like a Heinz 57, but he's pretty small. And they get along really well with Bella. Humphreys is such a weird dog. He wants to try and be the boss, and then when they tell him he's not the boss, well, then he's kind of put in his place, and then then they're fine for the rest of the visit. But every time they come back, he's got to try and be the boss, and they have to remind him he's not the boss. And he does that to Bella sometimes too, and she just grabs him by the cheek, and she will not let go until he just kind of lays down and is calm and, not trying to go after her legs. And he knows she's the boss, but sometimes he's just got to try it. He is very happily snuggled up with Mom and Bella underneath one of the blankets that I made recently. It's a nice blanket. It's nice and soft. And I like making blankets. I like probably the corner to corners the best. And then either the like a granny square, a modern granny square, or like a moss stitch square. In fact, moss stitch is kind of one of my favorites right now. Just because I just like it, how it's put together and what it looks like when it comes out, because it looks like single crochets, because it is, but you don't really notice the chains because you're single crocheting into the chains. So it ends up looking like a really nice fabric that doesn't have any holes in it, but it's not as heavy as if you'd done single crochets in every stitch. So what are you up to this weekend? Are you working on anything? I'm just kind of sitting here blathering. Oh, why don't you go get your cardigan? I asked Mom to go get her cardigan, the Tequila Sunrise cardigan that she made. And we can show that to you. I think Mom is very proud of it, and she should be. She worked very hard on it. And it looks very nice. Yeah, I still have enough to keep going. And for my ends that are like not long enough to do an entire row, what I've been doing is taking those ends and just making a magic knot ball. And then when I'm done with that, well, when I'm done with this, I thought I might try and work on a blanket for baby's baby. Because I thought it would be kind of fun to have a blanket that matched the baby blanket for, if the baby has a baby or some kind of toy that needs to be tucked in at night. When I was little, I had pacifiers, and my mom got me this Holly doll, and it had a pacifier in it, and it was a hard pacifier. And I worked and worked and worked, and I got that pacifier out of that baby's mouth, and I stuck it in mine. I hated it. It hurt. Got rid of it. Got rid of all my pacifiers. So they didn't actually have to like break me of my pacifiers. No. I threw them all away, which made, Mom and Grandma happy. But I was probably around a year old when that happened. I think I was around 2 years old when I was potty trained. And what happened was my grandma and papa were going on trips across the United States in their RV, and Mom was working. And so I went with papa and grandma, and they set the, little toddler toilet between the two of them. And that's what I sat on. And that's how I became potty trained. I spent a lot of time with Grandma and Papa, especially during the summers. I spent a lot of time with Papa during the school years because he was the one that was my chauffeur. He took an early buyout from Greyhound and became my chauffeur when I was getting ready to go into kindergarten. And man, that was my favorite person, my Papa. Okay, so I'm going to turn you guys. This is my mom and her cardigan. This is her Tequila Sunrise cardigan that she made. And it looks really nice. Do you like it?
Love it.
Good deal. Thanks, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
See, I told you guys that I would eventually get her to show it. But yeah, she's very proud of that, and she should be. I'm going to turn you guys just a titch more. There we go. My mom knows how to crochet, and I know how to crochet and knit. My mom is part of the Nurse Honor Guard, and I think she really, really enjoys that too. And of course, Humphreys, every time Mom moves, Humphreys has to go with her, make sure she's safe, probably because he knows 90% of the time I stay sitting in my chair, and so I don't get up and move around as much as Mom does. Oh, he was so sneaky last night. So we went to bed, and then around 1 or something in the morning, I got up to use the restroom, and I went back to bed, and then I realized I didn't have Humphreys, so I had to go track him down, and he'd come out to the living room and was sleeping in my chair, which is usually where I find him, either on my chair or Mom's couch. If he's not in my bed with me. For a while, I was finding him in his bed in the kitchen because we have 2 beds in the kitchen for them. But now, lately, I've been finding him either in my chair or on Mom's couch, which is fine. I just tell him it's time to go to bed, and we get up and go to bed. What else? I've just really been working on blankets this week. I've really been feeling the blanket itch, I guess. I have another one started that I sat down because I'm doing this one. This one takes priority because it's actually going to someone. The other one is just something I'm working on to work on. What else? Oh, I'm getting the side eye now. He's all comfortable back up with Mom. And because I talk about him, Humphreys will give me the side eye. Although he's not watching the TV, which is interesting because usually while I'm going, sometimes he likes to watch the TV because the TV is probably about, I don't know. It's a few seconds behind where I'm at, where I'm talking. That wasn't right. Okay. I was talking and not paying attention to what I was supposed to be doing. I don't know if I can get it. But I'm going to try. Okay. I made it. I didn't think I was going to, but I did. So I'm going to real quickly put the end of this on my knot ball. That way I don't have to go back and do it later. Because then I'd have piles of yarn all over the place, and I don't particularly care for that. I already have enough going on with my yarn stash up here right now. And in my bedroom. And one of my family members crochets, and she had to move and doesn't have her crochet stuff anymore. So I was able to give her several hooks, and we gave her some yarn and told her that when she's out of yarn, she can come back and get more. Because I have a ton of yarn in boxes and bags in the basement. I was a professional yarn hoarder. I am currently trying to be a professional yarn user. We'll see how that goes. It's been going pretty good recently. So hopefully I keep it up. Okay. I'm just going to hide this end real quick because I don't like them, sticking out. The silly mohair hair is going all over the place. Okie dokies. I don't know if you saw her or not, but Crochet Vision is back. She did a live the other night. And it was a good live. I think she's going to be doing them earlier in the evenings instead of so late, which works for me. Okie dokies. So I'm tying on my next color, which is a deeper purple. And this should finish out this blanket. Which I am very happy to be able to use these yarns. I used some green last year, but I really hadn't gotten into this tote of yarn. We like to keep our yarn in totes just to keep stuff nice and clean and, keep the dust off of it and keep pests out, that kind of stuff. Although really the only kind of pests that we have to deal with year in and year out are the crazy box elder bugs. And they've started coming back again. And it's like, that should be a fall thing. And then we should be able to move away from them having them come in the house, but apparently not. And I know Mom doesn't like them either. At least a lot of our stuff is white or light colored, so it's easier to see them because, of course, their wings are black. I've been watching Mayday, the airplane disaster show. They show other stuff besides just airplane disasters and airplane accidents. And incidences. They show trains and helicopters and I think ships. But I'm watching they have a playlist that has over 400 videos in it, so I'm working my way through that. While I crochet and stuff, because it's just something to kind of have on that to me is interesting. I don't usually play the marathon while Mom is in here because I'd rather play stuff that she and I both enjoy because she gets tired of the marathon stuff and I don't tend to. I don't know if you saw my last live, but my business name is Hot Dog Crochet. And so my names on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and Blue Sky and all that Threads is going to change to Hot Dog Crochet. I'm just waiting on a couple final documents before I change everything over. But it's already an established business in Wyoming. So I'm pretty proud and excited that I was able to do that. I'm still kind of working on the logo. I have one made, but I'm not really set on it. So I'm still working. I'll get it figured out. And then I need to figure out how to add it as a sticker so that I can put it on my videos. But that's way in the future. I just figured out how to talk over my videos when I record, which is an awesome feature, but I just figured it out. And I figured out how to do the fast forward, like time lapse recording. I have to do it on my phone, but I do my recording on the phone anyways. So I figured that out. It just takes me longer to kind of figure stuff out. Between, my age and having all the chronic stuff going on, it just takes me longer, but that's okay. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still living and kicking. Let me see here. I may decide to change my lives to a different time on Saturdays, and I may add another day to go live. I'm still kind of kicking that around because it depends on how I feel. But I have been doing better recently, and I like being consistent on my channel, and I want to kind of grow that consistency. I don't think I'm going to do Vlogmas this year. I know a lot of people are going to probably do it again. I just don't think that I'm going to get that done. But there's so many other creators that do stuff like that, that it's not a big deal. Because I don't know about you, but I get kind of overwhelmed by that stuff sometimes. Because there's just so much content coming out every day and every week. And it can be overwhelming for me. So I'm excited for this summer because I think that I'm going to do a lot of lives this summer. Take you guys along while I'm selling stuff outside. Just so that I have a partner while I'm doing what I'm doing, someone to talk to. Plus, I'll be sitting out there probably crocheting or knitting because it's not going to be that busy. I'll probably have Humphreys with me a lot too because he likes to be outside. He is our Ferdinand. Anytime you bring anything into the house, he has to sniff it. Anytime you do anything with the plants, he wants to be over there sniffing. As the flowers come up, he sniffs the flowers. And, it's probably because cats or rabbits or squirrels or something was in there. But man, he sniffs everything. Like everything that comes into the house, everything in the yard. But we had a couple of mice in the house a while back. He couldn't find them. He didn't even look. Bella, on the other hand, was aware that we had some visitors. And Mom got them trapped and got rid of them. So that's a good thing. At least for us, it's a good thing. Because I was really worried about having mice in here. But they're gone. And it doesn't look like, to me anyways, that they really destroyed anything. They tore up some toilet paper for us. But that was about it. Grandma used to leave the back door open all the time for her dog, Oscar, to go in and out because she really struggled to let him in and out during the summers and the warm falls and stuff. And that's how she would get mice, is coming in through the door. She'd leave the doors open and they'd come in that way. Well, now we have a doggy door, so we don't have to leave the doors open for the dogs. So we don't have to worry about them coming in or out that way. And we got something delivered to us, and we're pretty sure that that's where the mice came from. But it wasn't like someone, packaged up mice and sent them to us. It just was what happened, because I was watching a show where they went and they kind of like rescued a rattlesnake out of a place where you wouldn't normally find that type of rattlesnake. But they had a lot of people coming and going from that area, and they were building and having stuff shipped in. So that snake could have come in many ways, but they were able to get it out without anybody getting hurt and without hurting the snake. And, my whole thing is I can't be around snakes. They still scare the bejeebies out of me, but I recognize that they were put here for a reason. And so I don't want them all dead. Grandma wanted them all dead. But that's a whole nother story. But I watch like Rattlesnake Solutions, and I watch New England Reptile Distributors, Nerd. I watch Snake Discovery. What else do I watch? Venom Man 2.0, I think, or something like that. Mark's Reptiles, and then Clint's Reptiles, Reptorium. I can't remember what Clint's, what his YouTube channel name is. I think it's Clint's Reptiles. But I like the education and being able to see things that I'm never going to see in real life. Like the Gaboon Vipers. Oh, they're pretty, and all the different designs that they have going down their backs, like the Gaboon and the Rhino Vipers. That being said, I'm never going to live in a region where they thrive. I'm not going to visit any region where they thrive. And mainly because I'm scared of snakes. I am very scared of snakes. But I like watching them on YouTube and whatnot, seeing the pictures of them, because they really are. There's a lot of snakes out there that are really pretty. They're just not my thing. But I like watching them on YouTube and learning, as well as people just showing off their pets, because they love those snakes like I love my dog. And to be able to see that somebody loves their pet just as much as I love mine, kind of helped me understand that there's a place for snakes in the world. Other reptiles didn't really bother me. It's just snakes. Just snakes. When I was in science class in the 6th grade, I was at parochial school. And my teacher had students passing around a snake skeleton in a box. And one of the students came up behind me and started slowly kind of pushing the box over my shoulder and down and hissing. I freaked out. I stood up and screamed, and then I got in trouble because I should know that the snake is dead and it can't harm me. Yes, but when you have a fear of something, fear's not rational. It is not necessarily it's not the front of your brain thinking, it's another part of your brain thinking. And I have always been one of those people that's anxious and easily startled. And I've had so many people, I shouldn't say so many, but I've had a couple of instances where people do things to make me think a snake is like crawling on me or whatever. And that scares the bejeebies out of me. And Mom, I think, understands why. Grandma, one time we were up visiting the family ranch, and Grandma looked up, and first, my cousin Toby and I looked up, and there was a snake wrapped around the light bulb. So we told Grandma there was a snake up there, and she kept telling us, no, no, no. Well, when she finally looked up there, there was a snake up there. So she left the light on all night long. And that snake was dead before we ever got there. So the next day, Papa had to take the light down and get the snake out. And he put it in a jar of like rubbing alcohol or something, so that we could show people. But I've never been, a big fan of snakes close to me. I've always been extremely scared of snakes. Grandma would run over rattlesnakes to make them hiss and rattle so that we would know what the sound is. She was really trying to kill them, but she would tell us to listen, that that's, a rattlesnake. She would also say, don't leave your doors and windows open or a snake's going to crawl in your bed. And in my head, I heard, and eat you. And so I had horrible nightmares about snakes for years and years and years. And of course, Grandma just was Grandma. She was always petrified of snakes. I have a cousin that one time had a bull snake. I think a bull snake, maybe a python. I don't remember, but it was a smaller snake. And that was her pet at the time. And when she came to visit, she brought it with her. But she knew she couldn't stay with my grandma because my grandma would freak out. So she was staying with her grandma, but nobody could tell her grandma that she had a snake because her grandma would freak out too. But she's always been a little different. And that's not bad. Karma's she walks to the beat of her own drum. And I think she always has. And I think that at times she felt constrained that she couldn't walk to her own beat or shouldn't walk to her own beat. But I really think that she is happy now, and that she and her husband are doing well. They just recently moved to Costa Rica, and they took her dad along. So I'm hoping that he's enjoying it, because he's no spring chicken either. Because technically Karma is actually my mom's cousin, but she's between my age and Mom's age. But I really like Karma and her husband, Steve. Sometimes they come and stay with us, which is okay. I just get tired out on having visitors at the house, like really quickly. Because I have a non-schedule schedule, meaning that I don't always go to bed at the same time. I can try, but it unless I'm tired, it's not going to work. And, sometimes I lay down and take naps during the daytime, and sometimes I'm up all night long. Sometimes I sleep all day long. Sometimes I'm having okay days or good days. Today's a good day. Other days I'm not having such a good day, or I'm having a bad day. So it can be rough having people here at the house. Not that the house isn't big enough, but sometimes it can just be rough. having people here. And Humphreys, it doesn't matter if he knows you or not. You go upstairs and then come back down, he starts barking again. The only person he doesn't do that to is Mom. Everybody else, you go upstairs and then come back down. It's like a whole new person walking into the kitchen and he barks his head off. I really wish he was more relaxed and didn't feel like he needed to do all that barking. But I think he's doing better at nighttime because I find him stretched out more than I find him curled into a donut. And I think being stretched out means that he's a little bit more comfortable. Hopefully, anyways. See, it's I'm kind of going from yellow, green into kind of a blue into purple. I didn't have a real good blue in this particular line of yarn, so I'm just using what I have. But I think it's going to be just fine. Because see, Humphreys loves my Aunt Susan, but he barks and barks and barks and barks. He loves my mom's boyfriend, but he barks and barks and barks. It's a different kind of bark, but still that can kind of get on your nerves, especially if you weren't expecting it. Because like I said, I have a high startle, low threshold for startle. And so he can scare the P1s out of me real easily. What else? I'm living in my Carhartts now. We have reached the season where I need them to kind of help stay warm as the sun waxes and wanes. I have the overhead light turned on because we're not really getting a whole lot of sunshine in. And I know my regular light kind of like drowns me out a little bit. But I use that light because it makes it easier to see stitches and whatnot. It's not a, what are they called? I think they're called like an aught light. It's not that, but it's kind of like the knockoff. And I got it off of Amazon and it works really well for me. Although I haven't really bought a whole lot off of Amazon recently because I'm, A, I don't really need anything right now, but B, I'm also trying to not spend a whole lot of money at big retailers. It's not like we have a real small family homegrown grocery store here in town. I mean, they say we do, but you have to buy in such large quantities that it defeats the purpose for Mom and I. So that leaves you like King Soopers, Albertsons, Safeways, Walmart. Or if you can't find it there, then Amazon. And we did just recently get a Sprouts, but they're kind of cost prohibitive right now, and I don't know that they're going to stick around, especially if we're really going into a recession, which it doesn't kind of. To me, it looks like we're going to be going into a recession. And I know that big businesses like that, especially when they're new, don't tend to last if we go into a recession like this. I just remember kind of what it was like back in 08 and 09 and what the jobs market kind of looked like around here. Now the problem is we have businesses that say that they have openings, but they can't hire anybody because they won't interview anybody. And it's like, that can be kind of frustrating because people are putting in applications thinking that a company is hiring because they have, like a for wanted sign or help wanted sign, or they're in the classifieds, or they're advertising somehow that they need help, and then they don't do the interviews, and so it takes a long time to find somewhere to get hired on at. And I'm lucky that my mother is keeping me in the style that I have not yet become accustomed to. um, I am very, very lucky to have the family that I have. Um, my aunt and my mother are awesome. My cousins are my cousins, and family and time just kind of keep on moseying along. Mom really is my best friend, though. But unlike grandma, I don't think that the umbilical cord, has to be so short. Mom can go do whatever she wants. She's welcome to go do whatever she wants. I just am happy that I get to live with my mom and that she spends so much time with me. So welcome back, and howdy. Are you working on anything new? Or, have you seen any good patterns recently? I'm working on a baby's blanket for someone that I know, and I'm using vintage yarn from the 1994, 1995. And it's from the Brown Sheep Company. Their mill is still going today. I think they're the only yarn mill left in the United States. They're over in Mitchell, Nebraska, and they are awesome. You can walk through they give tours where you can walk through and see how yarn is how you go from wool into yarn, which is pretty awesome. And it was interesting to learn that when you're milling yarn, you're going to lose about 10%. Not lose. You're going to have about 10% of the sheep's wool or whatnot that you can't use. It just doesn't work with the machines. And so that stuff gets pulled out, and then that can be used for stuffing and other types of roving and hand spinning. And so that's what they do, is they save that stuff and then they sell it on in other forms and in other ways. So basically all the sheep's wool that they purchase gets used, 100% of it. So they don't have any real material waste of the wool. They dye their yarns. They make thick yarns. They make thin yarns. They make all different colorways. And if you go to their shop in Mitchell, Nebraska, they have a little store that's attached to the mill. If you go in there to purchase yarn, it's a good discount. If you buy it online, it's usually a pretty good price too. But if you go into the store, it's a really good price because you get the store discount. Plus, if you pay in cash or if you pay by check, you get an even bigger discount, which basically takes off your sales tax. So it's worth it to go to the mill and purchase your yarn, especially if you're working with wool, because it is very high quality products that are, they make a bunch of wool that they don't, or yarn that they don't actually dye, and it gets sold on to independent dyers, and they use that, to make their dye lots and their runs and whatnot. Um, so Brown Sheep Company is always busy, but the service is awesome. It's been owned basically by the same family since it started. The lady that owns it now, her father owned it. And now her son is part of the business. And I have a feeling that he'll probably take over when she's no longer able to do it. Because she's no spring chicken either. But the whole family is really nice. So, and it's just fun to go over there and see new stuff. And it's in the middle of there. It's surrounded by fields. And sometimes you see cows out there and stuff. So it's not in the city by any means. Not that Mitchell is that big anyways, but it's definitely kind of out there in the boonies or in the tulips or however you want to say. But it's definitely worth it to go. And if you can't go there and you're in the Colorado area, then I would suggest going to Interweave. And that's coming up, I think it's next month, down at the Loveland Event Center because they sell their yarns for 50% off down there. And that's the only time you're going to get a deal like that in most situations. But it was a good, we had a good time going over there, Mom and I. And so then the second time we went over there, the first time we went over there, we had a friend with us. And then the second time, the friend and her husband went with us. And he toured the mill while we were in the shop. But it just was really fun to go do that. And then afterwards, Mom and I got to go down and see my aunt. Because she doesn't live in Cheyenne. She lives over in Nebraska. But she's really close. She's about an hour away. A little over an hour. And we can meet her halfway, at the one of the truck stops, which sometimes we do that. I'm really hoping that this summer's awesome, not just for me, but for everybody. I know we have to wait and see because you never know what's going to come up or come around. But I really do hope that it's good for people, even with everything that's going on with the politics and everything. I really do hope that things can settle down and maybe, going into a recession and having all the nastiness and the going on with the stock market, maybe that will calm things down a little bit. I doubt it, but maybe. And I really do hope that anybody that's, in direct path of these storms is able to stay warm and to be safe inside and has some way to get the weather broadcasts, even if the power fails. So if you need to, you can evacuate. I hope it doesn't. I really wish that we would not see destruction like we have seen. I don't want to see anybody lose their homes or anybody hurt or anything like that. That really, hurts my heart. And we can't stop it. Natural disasters are natural disasters. Sometimes we can predict when things are not maybe made the way they need to be, or they haven't been the money has not been spent on the infrastructure and maybe a bridge goes out. Well, yeah, we can blame that on, poor maintenance or whatever. But when a tornado hits, that's Mother Nature. Like, you can't stop Mother Nature. You can do your best to plan, but we're never going to outrun Mother Nature. Even if we, in the future end up on another planet, we're not going to outrun Mother Nature, because there'll be a new Mother Nature up there that we'll have to learn. So I really don't know what else I have to say today. I know I rehash a lot of stuff over and over again. Um, I think I am going to call it a day, and I will have a new video drop on Wednesday. I'm sorry, this past Wednesday's video, I scheduled it wrong, and so I had to go in when I woke up and let it, have it go live right then, which was in the afternoon. I thought that I had it scheduled correct, but I didn't. So this week I will make sure that it is scheduled for the correct day at the correct time, in the correct year. But other than that, I'd like you to know that you are wanted, you are needed, and you are loved. This world would not be the same without you. Be kind to everyone, including yourself, and I'll see you later.